Highway of death. Could Ukraine's latest drone escalation ultimately backfire on Zelensky and his war strategy? Russia is watching closely as Ukraine attempts to cripple key military supply routes deep behind the front lines. From Flamingo missiles to Hornet drones, a cornered Ukraine appears to be going all out to stump Putin. As Kiev raises the stakes of the war with deeper strikes, Russia is reportedly plotting a deadlier revenge. Ukraine's drone campaign against Russia has transformed a critical military corridor into what many now call the notorious highway of death. Kiev's drone attacks have repeatedly targeted the supply route linking Rostov-on-Don in Russia to occupied areas of Ukraine. Russian troops reportedly regard the corridor as the crucial Novorossiya route, a lifeline for frontline operations. However, Ukraine's growing drone dominance over the route has reportedly led to its grim rebranding as the highway of death. Unmanned aerial attacks have become a major headache for Moscow, which relies heavily on the corridor to sustain forces in the south. According to reports, dozens of military trucks, fuel tankers, and supply vehicles have been destroyed by Ukrainian drones along the route. Zelensky's broader objective with the drone campaign is reportedly to impose a crippling logistics lockdown on Russia. The strategy involves deploying swarms of drones against roads, bridges, and key transport arteries used by Russian forces. According to reports, military cargo traffic along the highway dropped by more than 71% within just 2 weeks. Ukrainian drone strikes have also rendered several strategically important roadways increasingly difficult for Russia to use. Traffic was suspended at the Chonhar Bridge, a vital crossing connecting the Kherson region with Crimea. According to The Guardian, US-made Hornet drones have emerged as a key component of Ukraine's latest offensive strategy. The winged drones reportedly shadow Russian convoys before repeatedly striking them with precision attacks, claimed The Guardian. Footage released by the Ukrainian military showed relentless drone strikes targeting bridges, transport vehicles, and supply columns. Ukraine's bid to cripple Russian logistics comes as Kiev bears the brunt of Moscow's increasingly fierce retaliation. Tensions between Moscow and Kiev surged sharply as Ukraine ramped up long-range attacks deep inside Russian territory. On June 10, Ukraine acknowledged using FP-5 Flamingo missiles in strikes targeting Russian military assets. Volodymyr Zelensky claimed the Flamingo missiles successfully struck key Russian military facilities with precision. The Ukrainian operation targeted a facility in Cheboksary that reportedly housed critical military infrastructure. According to reports, the Russian site contained satellite navigation receivers and components for missiles and drones, and was set ablaze. 3 people were reportedly injured in the aftermath of the Ukrainian strikes in Cheboksary. The Ukrainian president also outlined details of additional operations targeting Russia's oil infrastructure. Zelensky said, and I quote, "We continue to apply Ukrainian long-range sanctions against Russian military facilities and the oil industry." In particular, last night Ukrainian FP-5 Flamingos struck a military plant in Cheboksary that supplies the occupiers' army with components for drones and missiles. I thank the armed forces of Ukraine for their precision. The Kuibyshev oil refinery in the Samara region was also hit last night. The distance from the front line is more than 900 kilometers. I am grateful to the warriors of the Special Operations Forces, the Unmanned Systems Forces, and the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine. The entirely just responses of the Security Service of Ukraine also reached 2 oil infrastructure facilities in the Vladimir region, at a distance of 700 kilometers. I thank everyone who fights and works for Ukraine. End quote. In Samara Oblast, Kiev struck the Kuibyshev oil refinery, located more than 900 kilometers from the front line. Russia's Samara oil facility processes approximately 3.7 million tons of oil annually and remains a critical energy asset. 2 additional oil facilities in Russia's Vladimir Oblast were also reportedly targeted by Ukrainian forces. Fires were allegedly reported at both oil plants following the drone attacks carried out by Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Kremlin condemned another Ukrainian strike targeting an iconic museum in Sevastopol. According to reports, historic artwork was lost in the blaze that followed the attack on the museum.
Last night, a drone strike virtually destroyed the siege of Sevastopol Museum. The museum building has been damaged. The strike was deliberate. Is the president's reaction to this known? And does the Kremlin share the view of the Sevastopol governor and museum staff that it should be restored, as was done following the damage in 1942?
We can see that the Kiev regime has begun to attack history. But history cannot be defeated. Just as we cannot be made to forget this history, such attacks only serve to underline the justice of our cause in our struggle for the Russian regions. This struggle will end in victory. This ruined site, so important in terms of symbolism and historical significance, will be restored and will be even more beautiful than before. Russia now appears firmly on a war path after Ukraine's repeated strikes against critical energy infrastructure. Russia's defense ministry claimed it shot down 326 Ukrainian drones across 19 regions on June 10. Ukrainian drones operating over Russian-controlled Crimea and the Black Sea were also reportedly intercepted. In retaliation, Russia launched a fresh wave of missile attacks across Ukraine during the night of June 10. The Russian strikes reportedly killed 6 civilians and injured 10 others across multiple regions of Ukraine. A new assault targeting Ukraine's regional hub of Kharkiv was also launched by Russia on June 10. Russia additionally unleashed 207 drones against Ukraine, striking 14 locations in a sweeping retaliatory operation.